Welcome to another edition of Lakerholics, Lakers Fast Break Spotlight on Lakerholics Weekend. I'm at Sky Zone in Van Nuys, California, so we're going to have to make this a short show. It's a whole series of events that went south for me today, but hey, you know what didn't go south? The Lakers last night, clinching the number 3 seed in the Western Conference of the NBA Finals. Monday, your thoughts on that?
Was that?
Your thoughts on that occurrence?
Well,
we all wanted to see. We are all pulling for it, and here it happened. We're good.
yeah, I was. Once I saw who they were playing, I kind of relaxed a little bit.
Likewise.
But then the team kind of relaxed a bit too in the first quarter. But once they figured out, hey, you know what, we really need to win this game. Things turned around and we took care of business.
The tenor changed about 8 minutes into the first quarter. You could tell that they were like, okay, we need to stop messing around here.
Yeah. So it was like, like I said off air, I enjoy stress-free basketball.
Me too. Next game will be 100% stress-free. We'll see Bronny James get his first start. Gabe Vincent will probably start. We'll run out the G Leaguers, Koloko, Trey, Jordan, Dalton. They'll all get plenty of run next game.
Yeah.
I doubt the starting 5, except maybe Hayes will play at all. Maybe not even Hayes.
It might be a good game because you know that Portland doesn't want to win.
Don't they though? Aren't they trying to?
They haven't been playing their guys. They've been tanking the last few games. Yeah, they haven't played anybody of the good players. So we should see scrubs against scrubs.
I like our scrubs. I like the Lakers scrubs on the against Portland.
Yeah. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah, it was nice to get it. Now the real drama tomorrow is going to be who do we play?
Yeah, it could be any one of 3 teams. I think Memphis.
Memphis.
State,
not Memphis.
No. Memphis is stuck in the 6th seed now, right?
No, they're 8.
8. I'm sorry, they're stuck in the 8th seed. It's gonna be it's Golden State, Denver, and the Clippers, right?
And the T-Wolves. The
two most T-Wolves have the biggest degree of variance in how it all could shake out.
Yeah, the 2 most likely teams would be the T-Wolves and the Warriors.
In that scenario, I think I prefer the T-Wolves, to be honest. Yeah, but I have a feeling it's going to be the Warriors.
It's really weird the way, for the Clippers, they can either finish 5th or 7th.
Right. They can't get 6th. Right?
They can't be 6th.
Yeah.
The only thing that could really shake things up would be if Houston decided, hey, we're going to play our guys against Denver, and they beat Denver. That probably won't happen.
They would have done that. Yeah, I don't see that happening. They would have done that against us.
Yeah, then the Thunder, I'm not the Thunder, but the T-Wolves, they lost to Utah, which is not going to happen. Utah hasn't been playing anybody either. So, that leaves the most likely scenario, the Clippers or the T-Wolves, one of the 2.
What's up, L. Rob?
Hey. What's up, Jamie? Hey, Mike.
Sorry, I didn't see it. Hey. I'm on my phone at Sky Zone in Van Nuys. Everything's all sideways for me today.
You're good.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Gerald, for hitting me up that L. Rob is in the lobby. It's great for the Lakers to clinch yesterday. L. Rob, we'd like to get your thoughts on all that jazz as well.
It is wonderful, like you guys were saying, to be able to have a stress-free game for the first time in, I don't know what, 4 years at least. So, it's nice.
This is the first time we've been in the playoffs since the bubble.
Okay. Yeah, we weren't in 2021. We were the year after the bubble.
No, not we were in play-in.
We were play-in team.
Play-in team.
2021, we were playing.
Yep.
We've been playing the only time. Yeah, we've been playing ever since the bubble.
Okay, man. Okay.
So crazy,
yeah,
right?
it is nice to be back among the living instead of being among the surviving. Now we're We're
Well,
living.
for the oldest player in the league, it means rest, right? What do you guys
Yeah.
think that means for LeBron's ability to like impact at least a first round series?
It's huge. It's huge. And the other thing, if he did tweak that groin a little bit, he's going to have plenty of rest. So, they say there was no problem. He might have just felt a twinge and just decided that let's just, sit out the rest of the game. We had it under control, so there was no reason for him to come back.
Yeah, I think it's not just the first round series. I think, having a rest like that, that's a good, that carries over. So I think
we've seen LeBron throughout this year, the last few years, whenever he's out for some reason and he gets like 7 to 10 days of rest, he comes back really rejuvenated,
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have him get the rest. Everybody's banged up. There's nobody on the team that's not banged up this time of year. I feel like dealing with something.
I feel like Luka, DFS, Vando with his feet, Hayes even with that finger. His free throw shooting is bottomed out since he hurt that finger. He was a 70%er for most of the year until the last couple of weeks when he hurt that finger. Now he's dropped into the 40s. And it would be great if he wasn't a 40% free throw shooter. It would be great if he was a 70. Because then you're not going to foul the guy on dunks. You're not just going to send him to the floor. You're going to let him, you're going to be like, oh, well, Anyway.
Yeah.
Rob, great to have you back on the show. I know you were not the biggest fan of the Luka trade. Has your opinion on the trade changed at all since, over the last month or so? I know it's not a knock so much against Luka as it was that you're a big fan of AD, and I understand that. It was hard watching AD in the Dallas game for me. I feel for the guy. He went to the worst situation.
Yeah.
That Dallas team is a disaster right now, and they still played pretty tough, down the stretch. So that was nice. They're playing competitive.
So one of the things, the Lakers have been playing very, very good, and they're third seed. But one of the things, that I think is lost is that the Lakers were playing exceptional before the trade. I mean, they were playing really good, and they really, for the first time, have been healthy. So it's really not a fair comparison as pre-trade and post-trade, because they're a different team when you got Vando, and you got, your full complement of players. But no, I mean, I get it. It was kind of like an emotional response. I mean, Luka is a great player. And the one thing about Luka is he's proven in the playoffs. So this is his time. This is where he, usually elevates his game. So yeah, if that trade's out there, it's a trade you got to make, emotions aside. And, you got a long runway with Luka. And, I'm looking forward to seeing how he, Luka relishes the challenges of the playoffs. So as much as I love AD, some of those games in the, he kind of shied away a few of those games in the, when he's going up against Joker, that was not him at his best. But, not having that size, that does concern me at some point.
Well, and that's, sorry, it's going to get loud here for a second. Sorry, Gerald, but it's one of the places you see that is on the defensive end when Hayes goes out. We become more of a swarming team, and I'm curious how that's going to play out in the playoffs, and I'd like to hear your and Michael's thoughts on that.
Well, for me, having Rui back and healthy is huge, because our small ball lineup is completely different when he's in there. He just, they bring in Finney Smith for Jax. And it just changes this when Rui's available. It changes that small ball line, because you watch him play. I wish I could have figured out how to post it, because Darius Bleacher Report had a great write up on Rui and his defense, and the guy has been playing all year under the radar for some reason. He's been playing solid defense. He has the body to bang with the bigs. You watched him against Gildas Alexander. He stood his ground on him, didn't go for any of his head fakes. Alexander had to throw it out. I mean, we're different when he's available. So, we're not going to face anybody bigger than Dallas. Dallas had a huge front line. You know, I mean, 2 6'10" guys and a 7
Maybe
footer.
OKC.
OKC's not even as big front line as Dallas was. Yeah, and we handled OKC okay too, because Holmgren is a skilled player, but he weighs about 180 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And both LeBron and Rui just manhandled him, pushed him. He could not get position on them. And Hartenstein was the only guy on OKC that I really worry more about because the guy's strong. I don't worry as much about Hartenstein because he's not. So I think it's going to be okay. Yes, I would really like to have a solid center rotation. That would be great, but it's too late to do anything about it now. So you just got to live with what you have, and we'll do a really good job. Our small ball lineup, it's one of the better ones I've ever seen. We'll do a really good job. Will it be enough? I don't know, but we'll see. But
Rob, anything you want to toss on that fire?
No, I mean, I think it's just, I mean, I don't really compare, I mean, looking at Dallas right now, it's hard. I mean, AD is not even in nowhere 100%. Near, no. I mean, he's just coming back from an injury. So, I mean, we remember how Luka looked his first, couple of weeks when, 2 or 3 weeks when he was trying to get himself back, in up to game speed. It takes a while.
Yeah, and no Kyrie in Dallas, right? So that's a huge.
Yeah, so, I mean, they have no creator. So I don't even look at that as any type of challenge. But looking at just looking at the West, no, size doesn't look like, I mean, OKC could be a challenge. I mean, obviously we answered that challenge and acquitted ourselves very well in those 2 games. Houston's too young. If we meet up with Golden State, they don't have size. Actually that kind of works against us because having that size, that was a matchup AD pretty much just dominated.
Right.
And without AD, when we play Golden State, their small ball team looks better than our small ball team.
It's a pretty good small ball team they got there.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. But I mean, hey, I like our chances against anybody. OKC, I still would say would be a favorite against us. Don't look like we're going to be in the same bracket with Denver. So I don't think Denver would always make it all the way to the conference final. We have to play them. So yeah, no, I mean, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, the thing about OKC, I was thinking about this morning. They just waltzed through the West, but the thing about them is that they're a really deep team.
Yeah.
So they were able to overcome injuries a lot easier than a lot of other teams were able to.
Right, but what's their playoff rotation lineup look like? You're not going to play 10 guys, 11 guys, or you traditionally don't. Maybe they buck the trend and they just try to keep that vibe going. But I think that's going to be
it's not going to be as easy for them as everybody may think it's going to be.
I tend to agree with that line of thinking, Michael. I think that's one of the things that because they haven't played a smaller rotation all season long. They've relied on the longer rotation to get through this whole season.
So who do you see challenging them other than the Lakers? Who's gonna?
I think Minnesota could give OKC a hard time just because they don't really have a great answer for Ant-Man, and they don't have, to be honest. I think Julius Randle's a better playoff basketball player than people give him credit for, and I think that's starting to come together. That Ant-Man Randle combo is finally starting to I don't know if he's going to stay a Timberwolf, but you could see them, doing some damage in the playoffs together. And Gobert's a force on defense that can neutralize their big guys, either Hartenstein or Holmgren. So I think that Minnesota's kind of one of my sleeper teams in the playoffs this season. They've been under a lot of scrutiny.
Yeah.
And Anthony Edwards wants to show he's part of the elite, cadre of players that can take a team deep in the playoffs. Julius Randle's playing for a paycheck. There's a lot of motivation on that team that other teams don't have. Hold on a second. I'm also near an airport, so it's just Gerald's gonna love me. Gerald's gonna love this show more than any other show we've ever done ever. Maybe you can be at a construction site where they're also blowing up airplanes and cars, buddy. So Gerald, I apologize in advance for all the hectic chaoticness. But you know what? We did the show. We did this.
There you go.
man, we're doing what we can.
The West is going to be a dogfight. The West is going to be brutal. There are no teams that are like layovers that are.
No, I've never seen it like this before.
Yeah, maybe if Memphis makes it as the 8th seed, then that's probably one team that has 0 shot. But other than that, everybody else is pretty solid.
Memphis is a great segue because let's talk about something that happened to both Memphis and the Nuggets. Both Memphis and the Nuggets fired their head coaches with less than a month remaining in the season. Mike Malone just a couple days ago. I was surprised by the timing of the Jenkins fire. I wasn't blown away by it because I think in general that team was like, I don't know if it's John Morant. I don't know if it's Jenkins. I don't know if it's just being in Memphis or what. But like, I feel like that team is constantly imploding around itself, and B, just can't seem to like put it together for any length of time since they had that great run a couple of years ago. The Mike Malone firing blew me away. I did not.
Yeah, that was amazingly weird.
I don't understand ownerships. This is what happens, I think, when you have somebody who's a business person, and I think we're going to see this playing out a lot over the next couple of years, unfortunately. But when you put people who are business people in charge of things that aren't just businesses, it doesn't always work. Like, I don't know how to tell people this, but like the businessman of America doesn't have all the answers. They're not some sort of profit genius sitting in an internet cafe just waiting for you to come and pick their brain. They're going off their gut. And oftentimes they inherited their money or got lucky. And so, yeah, that's like cool. Right? I'm not trying to begrudge that. I'm not trying to say like that's not awesome. Like, great, making money, awesome, wonderful, good for you. But that does not equate to building a great basketball culture. That does not equate to like understanding how like a locker room works, because that is not how any kind of business works. There's no business on planet Earth that works like a professional sport locker room. So
look at Nico at Dallas. He came from Nike.
Right.
And look what he did.
And he's going to get fired this summer. They're going to wait till the summer to do it, but they're going to fire him because they can't start the season like this.
Yeah, I could see Denver firing the GM. I could see that. It's no consequences there, but right. Firing the coach at this point. I mean, maybe Malone lost. I mean, some coaches just have a shelf life. They can only, and then they lose the locker room at some point. But wait until after the playoffs. My goodness, that was just amazingly weird.
Yeah, Rob, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I thought both of them should have waited. I mean, but I guess it flew under the radar for me. I guess Memphis had fired some of the assistant coaches earlier or over the summer or whatever, and so they were kind of moving in that direction. But I think. I think a lot of that is on Ja. He's got to be healthy. I mean, he's missed, what is he playing in, 50 games this year? So, I mean, Memphis is truly, they've been hit with a lot of injuries, and it didn't help to have Wells go down, Yeah,
that was the big thing for them because he was their on ball
He was their guy. So, so I think the coach did.
Dylan Brooks, and they missed Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the coach. I think Taylor Jenkins did as well as he could with the cards he had dealt. I didn't get that one.
Triple J that can't defend without fouling.
Yeah,
He's always got 4 or 5 fouls every game at least.
Yeah, Mike Malone's firing. Yeah, I mean, I can get you. You kind of need to work with your boss. And to just go completely, some of the stuff that's coming out that he just completely had no relationship with the GM, and they were going in different directions.
GM too.
Yeah, I mean that's not.
Phil used to.
Well, he's not Phil.
He used to push back.
But Mike Malone's not Phil, Jamie. I mean, Mike Malone doesn't have Phil's track record, so. Yeah, so he wants you to play some young guys, and you don't want to play them. That's a dysfunctional situation, and that can eat at the locker room. And at some point, if the owner's seen all of that, and I mean, they asked Joker about it, and obviously he didn't come to Malone's rescue. So, I mean, to me, that spoke volumes that he did not come to the rescue and say, hey, keep this coach on. We want this coach. He was tired. He tired of it as well. So when your star player feels like that, what you going to do?
Yeah. I think we've lost Jamie here.
We lost Jamie. He hopped on one of those airplanes or something. But so, Michael, let me ask you, what do you think? I mean, it's got one game that matters tomorrow, and that's the Clippers and Golden State. What's your thoughts?
Well, honestly, they each have things that can hurt the other team. The Clippers are a really, really, really good defensive team. That's how they got there.
Yep.
I mean, everybody thought that losing Paul George would be disastrous. It turns out it was the best thing that could ever happen to them because now they play defense. And they have a big that can really bother Golden State as well. Is that who's at home for this game?
It's the Clippers.
Clippers are at home.
Yep.
I think the Clippers are going to win.
Yeah.
I really think the Clippers are going to win.
So that means that we would get if Timberwolves and everyone wins, that means we get the Timberwolves.
Yeah, if Timberwolves don't implode and lose to the Jazz, which they're not going to because the Jazz, they're a bad team and they're sitting what good guys that they do have.
Yep.
So it's probably going to be the Timberwolves, I would imagine.
Do you prefer the Timberwolves over the Warriors for a matchup?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of funny because Zoo gave us a hard time until we got rid of AD. and then when we played our small ball against him, we had him wrapped up. So, I don't know. Ty Lue's a great coach. So he's going to figure it out probably at some point, our small ball. But the
Clippers aren't in our. I mean, we're either going to play.
Oh, that's true. That's right. They can
either play Timberwolves or the Warriors.
Yeah, the Timberwolves. It's going to be a tough. You can't. Here's the thing for me is every single matchup there's challenges to. It doesn't matter who it's going to be out of the West. It's going to be a challenge because I've never seen. I've never seen it like this before.
Yeah, no, there's no easy. Ooh, let us play them. That's a walkover.
That's why it doesn't even really matter because you can point out every team possible, and you can see where our challenge is going to be. Yeah. Our overall challenge is going to be size in the middle, regardless of who we play. But our strength is going to be we've got 3 ball handlers that can rip people apart. And we're a nightmare. We're going to be a nightmare to guard, Yeah,
as much as Ant-Man, is one of the most talented guys in the league. Steph still puts a little bit more fear in me facing him than facing Ant-Man. So I would probably prefer playing Minnesota. But like you say, that's it's going to be a dogfight no matter if it's either one of those.
Yeah. I don't really know who. Really, I wonder if Jamie's coming back because I didn't know how to end this.
It's me and you. I think the only other scenario I think there's a possibility we could play the Nuggets, but that means they would have to lose their last game, which the chances of that happening
are very slim to none. Yeah. Just because, like I said, they're playing. Well, Houston has rested their guys the last 2 games and lost. I can't see them. There's no upside for Houston to play their regulars.
No, that would be strange. You rest guys all, for a week, and then all of a sudden the last game you play them. So
yeah, because I mean health over